Hello, meet. So, I want to discuss Elder Goths. Now, before I start, I want to clarify that I'm not here talking about every person who might fit into that category. My criticisms here are for a specific type, because really, what Elder Goth means is just a Goth who is either A, was part of the movement when it started, or B is over 40 years old. That's the general Urban Dictionary definition of Elder Goth. And of course, not everybody who fits that definition would do the things I here talk about. Now, when that's out of the way, I find it. I've several times I find YouTube videos. And we hear that such and such a thing isn't Gothic because the Elder Goths say so. If you don't know every band name that started the lifestyle, then you're not Goth because the Elder Goths says so. If you shop at Hot Topic, then you're not Goth because the Elder Goths says so. And I think that's bullshit. Now, yes, any philosophy, subculture, and so on can benefit from the guidance and advice of those that have been in it for a long time. That's natural. However, there's a difference between basically having been a goth for a long time and being able to impart your wisdom and trying to show your own personal definition of goth down everybody's throats. And when I hear of people that, oh no, they come to goth clubs, but the Elder Goths, they sit in ruling and decide, no, you are not goth enough, so I'm not gonna show you any attention, and therefore, since I'm not, nobody else will dare to do so either. That isn't something that adults should do. That is what is done in high school cafeterias. Every time this is criticized, someone will always say, but it's so good that we have these guys because not everything is goth. And I completely agree. Not everything is goth. However, goth do cover quite a few things, and also it's a definition that's very rooted in individual taste. And I find it somewhat ironic that those that claim to be Elder Goths claim to be part of this movement when it started, a movement that was rooted in fierce individuality, sit and say, no, you know what, you shop your clothes at the wrong store. Away with you. That seems rather ironic to me. And that's my main problem with it. This whole, oh, you're not goth enough because you do this, you're not goth enough because you do that. The point is this, yes, not everything is goth, that is true. If you're gonna call absolutely everything goth, then the word ceases to have any meaning. However, nor is goth a tiny little narrow thing. Goth is an appreciation of darkness, of it is longing, if you will, for the romance of something more than you can touch and see. It is different things to different people, but you can see it in the same category of things. And aesthetically, the name really says it all about what goth is. However, it does not say, yes, it is a dark aesthetic, unless that dark aesthetic was bought at Hot Top. Here's some of my issues with a few so-called Elder Goths. First of all, quite a few, they want to be accepted and not looked down upon for being unusual, having chosen an alternative lifestyle, alternative way of dressing, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, they hate that goth has become more mainstream. They hate that you can walk into an average clothing store and find t-shirts with skulls on it. They hate it. Because it's not enough for them to dress in a way that makes them feel comfortable, be in a way that's true to their hearts. They have to be unique, and when the neighbor's 14-year-old brat can dress up in a skull t-shirt and covered patterned arm warmers, they don't feel special anymore, and therefore they have to narrow the idea of what goth is so that only them and whoever's in their clique fits. And don't get me wrong. Uh, this has been part of goth for a very long time. I became goth sometime in the 90s, and it was a thing then too, with goths gathering in cliques and behaving like teenagers towards one another. No, I didn't really react much to it then because I was a teenager, but looking back at with adult eyes, here's the thing. We don't really need somebody to sit and dictate, this is goth, this is not goth. Because really, the term is pretty self-explanatory. Yes, of course, it's a floating term, and you have some things near the edges here and there, and then it has to be up to the individual. For example, I have this awesome bracelet my hubby gave me, and yeah, I know I'm talking about apparel here. There are deeper things to things, but I'll get to that in a little while. And it's basically shaped as a shark that bites its own tail, and that goes around your wrist. It's a stainless steel. Now, is that goth or not? I think it is. Could somebody else think it's not? Sure. But that's the point. These things don't really matter. I mean, I saw a woman here the other day. She, one of the goth people I know online, and she was wearing this light-colored floral blouse and a corset. And I mean, it's not an outfit I would consider particularly goth, but she did, and I can see how it fits into the goth genre. That's the point. Yes, sure. If somebody shows up in jeans and a white T-shirt, that outfit doesn't fit into the goth genre. And in any way, I can understand how somebody would say that's definitely not goth. But there are border cases. However, and here's the deeper thing that I promised you. It's not about the outfit. Basically, you can be decked out in skulls from your eyeballs to your asshole and not be particularly goth if you're only following a trend. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was the goth look that was in. Every store, they had spiders and cobwebs and skulls galore. And everybody were black and skulls and spikes and so on and so forth, doesn't mean that all of these people are goth. And you could have people who don't particularly like the aesthetic, but who have that feeling, who consider themselves to be goth, but dresses in a completely conservative, normal way. It's not about culture. And even less, it's about where you're born. Yeah. Now, people come bitch and complain about places like Gothic every day. And here's my problem with that. Basically, I think it's great that there are alternative clothing stores. But and then people say, "Oh, but everybody can dress like that." If everybody in the world suddenly puff became goth, you open your window and it's only studs, spikes, and skulls as far as I can see. Every neighbor is busy painting their house black. Would you suddenly stop being goth? Is you being goth basically determined about how many others follow the lifestyle? And that's the problem. And really, it came to this rot at the center of a lot of within the Gothic community came to bear the when we had the pastel goth fad, where goths were screaming, "They're not goths! Oh, my head's gonna explode!" Seriously? I mean, if these people want to consider themselves goth, they definitely dress in ways that I would consider to be gothic. You know what? I don't care if I don't know who all of these different bands are. Yes, I can see a point in learning a bit about them because they are important to the history of the lifestyle. It doesn't mean you're not a goth if you don't listen to them, if you haven't never heard of them. And again, with this uh, pastel goth thing, most that dress like that because it's fashion. That doesn't make them goth. I mean, if you look around the interwebs, you will find neon and pastel skulls galore because it was a bit into the fashion picture for a while. But if somebody feels that is the way they want to be goth, I don't have a problem with it. We're back on track because I already made a video about that. And back to Elder Goths. One of the things that people constantly said as the proof that pastel goths had nothing to do with goth was that, oh, the Elder Goths had said so. And I almost called them the Elder Gods there. That would be different. And do listen to what the Elder Gods say, or they'll eat you. But anyway, and the problem with this is that I don't think that goths as a community should blindly follow somebody just because they have been goths for 3 decades. It sure, by all means, they have a lot of advice to give, but quite a few of them is also very much stuck in the past. And it's very clear, like I said, that they long back to the days when if you were a goth, then you were a definitive outsider. There were no goth shops. You modified your own clothes, perhaps sold and traded among friends. and at most you might find a skull pendant here and there perhaps, but generally let's say it was very different times. And the problem is trying to fight the fact that it's become a popular lifestyle. Most people actually know what goth is, and there are clothing stores for alternative clothing. Trying to fight that don't bring those times back. And I for one is glad that these things are there. And here's how much I care if there's a 14-year-old who likes to dress goth and call themselves goth without really being so deep about it. 0%. Because here's what's gonna happen. Either this person is going to move on to the next fashion style when they get bored, and no harm, no foul, or they're going to stay and learn a bit. That's how it works. So, yeah. So, I mean, I have nothing against listening to elders by all means. I do have a problem when it becomes cliques that if you bought your clothing the wrong place, or you wear the wrong color, or you don't turn around 13 times and offer a secret handshake at the door, then no, you're not a goth. That I have a problem with, because, and really, the idea of, oh, but not everything is goth, so could you have these guards? That doesn't justify it, because really, just look up the word, look up where the word comes from. It's very, very, very clear what goth is, what goth means. So we don't need somebody to sit and judge what 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 this lifestyle is about. And I think that at the heart of being a goth is actually being an individual. And that kind of clique isn't really conducive to something that has to do with being an individual. So to all the elder gods that are as part of the community, offer their advice, talk about the good old days, and so on and so forth, awesome! I'm all behind you. However, to those that sit in judgment of others and judge who is God or not, I just have to say that you can take your judgment and you can shove it up somewhere where the sun shines even less than on the rest of you. So, yeah, and I think others should do it too. I think it's detrimental to our community to accept that kind of judgment. And if you're at a goth club, the elder gods have turned their nose down on somebody because, really, that dress, it is from Hot Topic. You're so mainstream. Go and talk to that person. Instead of trying to please this arrogant jackass, go over to the person with the Hot Topic dress and talk with that person. Talk about being goth. Talk about what goals seem or hurt with. Because we have to accept that people are goth in different ways. It's not a protected title. So, yeah, that is what I wanted to say. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Blessed be.